Hey, welcome friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, I'm gonna invite someone who's great. It's Rajiv. He's coming from Philippines. He's gonna share his story with us, his ups and downs, and we're gonna all benefit from his experience. So let's welcome Rajiv. Hey Rajiv, welcome.
Hey guys, it's been long. I've been rusty. I've been on hiatus for a very long time, and I'm using the arm this time so that at least I get to use my hands a lot. Because every podcast that I have, I never use my hands. So now I'm gonna use my hands to full
Yeah,
capacity.
that's great. That's great. We also in North Africa, we always use our hands like that. Not like kind of North Americans that speak just
Yeah,
with their hands down.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. How
Eh,
are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Like I said, I've been on a hiatus from the last episode that I did a recording of. So I'm just excited, and I'm open to collaborations now. Although yes, my podcast is on break. I finished a 10 episode series on the business podcast right now. So I'm just getting myself out there, just getting the marketing out there, and I'm the only guy here, so I have no choice but to get myself out there. You know how it is.
Okay.
Hustle
Yeah.
never stops.
Yeah, that's great. Welcome, man. Welcome, man. So, the question that people wanna hear here is, what's your business is about? Could you introduce your business?
So my business is Pod Mentor Space. The name of the business is Pod Mentor Space, and initially it had gone through a lot of pivoting. So far, right now, so far as of now, we've pivoted from mentorship to production. So it's just we revived. This was actually I just give you a little bit of story. Just take you back to the Genesis, to the
Yeah, yeah,
Moses,
yeah.
and to the Adam and Eve of the story. So the story on how this business came about is it was actually an I shared idea between me and a friend of mine from America, and I just wanted to help him out. I just wanted to see if I could give him this idea that can help him, stabilize. And then we just went through brainstorming sessions, and he said he wanted to do mentorship. And then I gave the project to him. I said, okay, you do this, I'll support you. But then after that, he abandoned the project, and it was, I think, a year or so, 2 years or so. And then once the project was abandoned, I was just going through my archives of pages on Facebook. So I was just checking out what are the active Facebook pages, and I saw this. It just so happened that it was just a Facebook page that we created, and it was not doing anything. So I decided, okay, let me just take it over and see if we can take this to the next level. So from then on out, we did the whole Pod Mentor. The idea of Pod Mentor, be offering mentorship, but then here comes the storytelling, where the ups and downs. This is the wins and loss kind of storytelling. So um, at that point in time, I was already I had my first I had two podcasts that I released, and then I had to call back my second podcast because I didn't have experience to talk about that podcast. And then on my fifth, I just realized that how can I mentor people? This was something that my sister and many people told me. How can I mentor people if I only have 5 years of podcasting with not much success? So it made me realize, yeah, it kind of makes sense. So I decided to pivot from there. And then, although I still kept the brand Pod Mentor Space, I decided to find a way to create some form of demand, and I looked at the market, and I saw that people like to do podcast productions on as a remote, or sometimes they do live production now that we are growing out of the pandemic. So I took the opportunity and pivoted Pod Mentor to production. Although we still use the same brand, we just add. It's like an add-on. It's like an add-on for our production business. So from then on out, things stabilized. So far, we have three clients, and the journey has been rough, but at least we're stabilizing. And uh, yeah. So sorry, but it's a very long story.
Yeah, that's great. This is what we want to hear. And also, people want to hear some stories like that. So, about podcasting, do you have your own studio or how do you do with that?
uh, I love it. I love the question. For me, the whole podcast thing was not really in my life goal plans.
Okay.
uh, so podcasting to me just came upon during the pandemic when we were all locked up at home. It just so happened that it was an opportunity that presented itself. So at that time, of course, I just recently graduated, fresh off college, and I had nothing to do with life, honestly. So I was just looking for life, something to do with life, and there was nothing much to do because, of course, you were locked out at home. You were locked in at home. You could not go out. You couldn't meet. So you couldn't do much. You couldn't even get a job at that point because of the seriousness of the situation. So I decided to look back at the app. It was just looking back at this app called Anchor, and I looked at it. I released an episode around 3 or 4 years ago. Prior to that, and it became something. It became an opportunity for me to just vent out my thoughts. So that was my first project, which is called the Rajiv Show, and it's been 5 years since my last record. I mean, 5 years, and right now it's not technically pod faded. It's just on break. But the that opportunity gave me that podcast gave me the opportunity to create an opportunity for others, and and I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of amazing characters through the journey. Of course, the journey was never as perfect. There were a lot of reflections. There were a lot of things that I learned along the way, and it became a fun journey. To be honest, I just love the journey of how we went from there to podcast production, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
Interesting, interesting. That's very interesting, man. So now the next question, let's talk about a little bit about marketing. So how do you market your business? You do it kind of old ways, like on newspaper, ad on newspaper, or something like that, or do you do it in a new way in digital marketing? If probably you have a website where you're gonna drive clients, or you do some kind of paid ads on Facebook or Instagram. How do you market your business? How do you get clients or people to come to your podcast?
As of now, the venture, eventually I want to transition this, just bring back to reconnect this to another thing. That's actually a good question on in terms of marketing. But for now, since this venture has become kind of like a solopreneur journey for me, because as of the moment I just have one editor and it's just me. I mean, I'm the one producing, putting things together, putting it into a package, and then my editor does the work. So it's more like a solo casting kind of venture. As of late, I've been an experimentalist when it comes to social media. I consume a lot of content, and I also study how businesses, like what you mentioned, businesses, paid ads and organic ads and all that stuff. I did my fair share of experimentation with my podcast, which is the Pod Mentor Space podcast. For me, it was just a trial thing, so I wanted to do it as a video thing and just go with it, go out, go nuts and all that stuff. So so things were good. I mean, so far I've never managed to generate leads, so and all I wanted to do basically from that was, the goal was to get some form of attention. So the reach, I guess, that in marketing terms, I just wanted to get that reach. Of course, probably my marketing strategy, I never had a marketing strategy, but the one that I found very effective, and that's how we actually know each other, is I have been studying a lot of Reddit marketing. So I'm very active in this is one thing that I've been using to generate a couple of leads. I do have, like, you were the second person that I've reached out to just collaborate with. The first person I reached out, he was interested, and then I basically built a conversation from there, and I said, this is a possible potential for leads, because you do not know who you're dealing with, and that's an opportunity for something that can take you to the next level. So right now, even though all my socials are everywhere, I do Twitter, I do Facebook, I do everything. All my socials are spread out too thin. I do like to focus my energy on Reddit, and to me, it's a gold mine. It's more of, you can experiment when everything falls apart. At least this platform, although it has its own rules and regulations, it actually keeps you accountable for the potential of meeting new strangers. And the podcasting subreddit community is very active. So that's where I hang out.
Yeah, yeah, that's why we met there. Interesting, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people they're looking for kind of new ways to do marketing, either
Yes.
online or I also have some clients who do some offline marketing, some
Yeah.
kind of new ways, but they are very, very effective. And this is how we met on Reddit, and it was so powerful. And also for my
Yeah.
business, it's so powerful, Reddit. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So now my question is, you said you're like a solo entrepreneur, and many people started from that. Many people started from
Yes.
scratch, started with zero experience, zero money, zero budget,
Yes.
zero connections, until 5 or 10 years from there, they come to have big business with employees and stuff like that, probably warehousing,
Yes.
etc. So, how do you see yourself and your business in 5 to 10 years? How do you see yourself? Do you think of hiring people? Do you think of promoting your business, probably expanding it to something else?
Absolutely. I mean, you nailed it. You answered you answered your own question. But here's my thought of it, because I don't think I actually shared this story. I mean, I did share this on my podcast. Um, this was not really an entrepreneur will have their failures, and they'll have their fair share of failures and their fair share of wins. This pod mentor project of mine is not technically the first project that's become successful. Honestly, before this, during the pandemic, I got together with a couple of my folks here in the Philippines. We came up with this network type of thing, and at that time, uh, I did not know much about the whole concept of network, podcasting network, and any. I just said, let's just take a risk and let's just go run with it. And that was my first venture, basically. That failed until last year, around April or so. But the lesson there that I learned is that I really wanted to get back that feeling of. I want to get back that feeling of saying that, okay, I've done something and I want to do a better job if I were to start again. So I had a network with a couple of people. We had everything. We had the planning, we had the meetings, we had everything. We even had podcasts. But the problem, though, is um, I guess it was the lack of. It was more of action and no strategy. It was also the part of my laziness, and there were a lot of factors, basically. But in the end, the reason why we decided to fold it was because of the fact that we were spread too thin. And that was the main reason why I'm now motivated to do this podcast production and somehow revive the name of revive the value of what a podcast network is if I were to start fresh. So um, and it's always been a dream of mine to do right by what I did wrong in my past mistakes. So from the podcast production, from pod mentorship podcast production, I aim to take this to the next level by creating network. If you want to ask me 10, 20 years down the line, this is probably a manifestation. You might get a clip out of this, but this is my manifestation. But I do like to travel, and I've been stuck at home, and I do like to hopefully come to Morocco, where you are.
Yeah,
Or I want to
yeah.
go to America. I want to go to Europe. It's been a childhood dream of mine to just go to Europe and just have a ball. But aside from the traveling vision, I also want to create a legacy where I get to go there for a sense of purpose, not just go to travel, experience the world from that perspective, but I want to also put a mark on, let's say, Pod Mentor Network, opening a studio in New York or Morocco or UK, or London, or and then host events. basically building a community of people who are passionate about the this new era of podcasting. So that's my manifestation. I don't know if you guys are going to make a clip out of this, but give me a copy. I love to go back to this and put this on my phone so that I remind myself of what I want to look forward to. So yeah.
That's great, man. That's great. That's great. I hope you all the best, and I hope you're gonna one day travel all the world. Because I saw a lot of people during my career. I saw a lot of people they starting like simple podcasting on YouTube. Then
Mm-mm.
2 or 3 years later, I saw them traveling the world, Europe, etc., doing kind of vlogs and doing kind of street podcasting. They're interviewing people,
Yeah.
etc. So I hope you're the best, man. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome, interesting. That's so interesting. So now my next question to you, because a lot of my subscribers, what they want to know, they want to get some advices from people like you who are working in the battlefield, if I can say that, who
Yes.
were starting from scratch, from zero, because a lot of people they are eager to be kind of entrepreneur or business owners. They want to get this advice. Um, which advice could you give them now? Because a lot of people they think that entrepreneurship is easy. It's something easy. You're just gonna open your laptop, switch on the internet, and start making money. A lot of people they have this misconception of being an entrepreneur, but the reality is not that. Where
Hmm.
when you are in the entrepreneurship field, it's a lot of failures, it's a lot of downs and ups, it's hard, it's difficult, it's aggressive sometimes with the competitors, etc. So what kind of
Yes.
advice could you give the people who just wanna make the first step up to entrepreneurship?
Oh, okay. So first, okay. I was actually wanting to divide this into three levels for people who are starting, people who are in the mid, or people who still are at some point in their life. I hope I can expand on that. But since you asked from starting, let's go from there, and then let's go from one level to the next. So for people who are starting, this might be. I do not know whether this might come out offensive or, but when I always, now that I look back at it as I reflect, when people say that you need to follow your passion, I do really cringe at that notion. I do understand that, yes, there's a sense of love. You know, when you're creating something, you're building something, there's that sense of love. But if you create something without knowing, for me, I used to follow that philosophy, follow your passion, follow your passion. But as I grow older, now I'm going to be 30 and I don't know, March 27th. So I kind of grown to realize that passion is kind of overrated. You know, you can still use passion, but use it as a tool. You know, use passion as a tool, and this is for all the three levels, by the way. Let me just put that out, then we'll talk about the three levels. So put passion as a tool for you to create something, and then from there on out, it's the best advice that I could probably give is focus on searching for a purpose. See, when you're creating a purpose, things will make sense. Passion will come in and then amplify that 10 times. I don't know if you agree with me. You know, people who start usually they have this they fall into this shiny object syndrome. So of course everybody looking at entrepreneur because one guy on Instagram has a Ferrari and then they want to get a Ferrari, they want to get a Lamborghini, you know. So it's a shiny object. And even in entrepreneurship, it is so marketed in a sense that it shows you what you think it is, but it's not showing you the reality on how you get there, you know. So as a beginner, so now let's go from the levels now. As a beginner, when you're beginning in entrepreneurship, try things. This is Gary Vee's statement. He's been saying this in his social medias everywhere, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere. He says that try things on your 20s. If you're starting out on entrepreneurship venture, try things. So you can go to You can go to a thrift store. If you're a fashion guy, you can go to a thrift store, buy stuff, sell it for a higher price. If you're a collector of coins, or this is my mentor here in the Philippines, he collects stuff. He collects comics, coins, and stuff like that, and sells it. And then initially, yes, there is no passion involved. It's more like, yeah, I have to get up and I have to do this. But then over time, as you compound that interest, that passion begins to build. Now that becomes a tool for you to amplify, because if you're doing it for the sake of just getting rich, you're not. So some people now, in the digital age, we have the opportunity of print on demand, where you don't even need to an inventory. You got print on demand, you got digital products, you got e-commerce, drop shipping. So you got all these platforms and all these available to you. But if you choose something that resonates with your purpose, let's say you want to do drop shipping, but your purpose, your passion is clothes, but your purpose states that you want to do it for a cause. So you can put a print on demand, you can create a print on demand for something that you believe in, stand up for the rights that you want to, all the rights and all the freedoms, or even something like a rock or music, jazz stuff. And then if that's your something that you like, build the passion into a purpose and then sell stuff. Print on demand, you can just create anything in Canva now. And then now, because it's too saturated, people get into the print on demand, go in, no idea, no plan, no purpose, no strategy. But then now they look at drop shipping. So, oh, another shiny object, they jump from there. Put some sense of purpose in what you're doing, and over time, your strategy, your planning, everything will come into play. So to answer it's a very long answer, but you need to find a purpose with what you can do, and then double down on that if it works. Here's the thing about it is, if you lose, you have nothing technically to lose, because one is you learned how to do what you did. And with that experience, not to go there,
Yeah.
So yeah, I it's a very long answer, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so great, man. You throw some really great gems here, because passions
Yeah,
and purpose is the best thing for anyone to follow in order to keep his focus in only one
yeah,
business.
yeah,
You don't need to say drop shipping. I can make money from drop shipping, and when you jump into drop shipping, you see something else. No, I'm gonna jump here. I'm gonna jump there. So you're gonna lose your
yeah,
focus, and you're gonna lose everything. So that's great
yeah.
advices, man. Great advices, man.
Oh yeah, I just came to my attention. I was actually talking about the three levels. I completely forgot about the two levels above. I hope you don't mind if I complete that thought before I
Yeah.
forget about it. So, if you are an entrepreneur and you're struggling, this is a different advice for those who are struggling. Keep your head up. You know, if money is your issue or funding is your issue, it will always come back. See, the experience of learning how you got that money in the first place will teach you how to double down on that. If it's funding that's your problem, then uh, relax and take a step back, strategize, look at what you've done, always reflect. So you have a journal, have a notebook. We have tools now. We have tablets. We got 10,000 laptops. You can literally have a home setup of everything that you want and put it all on a notepad, or just put things into perspective. Just reflect. So if you're in the advance and you're struggling, always look at reflection as a tool to help you understand how can I improve and how can I survive the next day. And it will compound. The more you compile your reflections, then just keep going and just keep your head up. uh, this doesn't just apply to funding. If funding is not an issue, purpose is an issue, you have to go back to what's the reason why you started this in the first place. And then you look at that as a sense of a direction for you to just say, okay, this actually makes more sense now. So I think I should focus on this, double down, and just keep going, you know. So that is for the second level. Now let's talk about the third level, the guys who are competing at the higher levels. You know, now that you guys are in your 50K, 100K, millions. Well, I guess the advice for you guys is just to keep going and always to be grateful for what you had in the beginning and how where you are. Reflection is also one thing that I should remind, but always look at the bigger picture. You know, some people, once they get to a certain level, it's like an appetite. So some people, once they eat, they say they're full, but there are people who eat but are still hungry. I don't know if that makes sense. There are a lot of people who do things for the sake of just that hunger, that competitive, that Michael Jordan, that Kobe Bryant mindset, you know. So for you guys, never accept being full. So if you've reached a level, one is reflect, be grateful, and look at the next thing, next big thing. Because see, if you are full and satisfied, your competitors will come around the corner and just go sprint past you. So those are the three advices that I could think of by the top of my head. But yeah, there are more. Just remind me.
This is a gold mine, man. This is a gold mine, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rajiv, for your time, for all the information you shared with us, for your story you shared with us, for your time and for everything. We hope you the best for your life and for your business. And one day we're gonna see you in very, very big podcast events. Thank
Oh
you so
yes,
much,
oh
man.
yes. Looking forward. Looking forward.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you so much,
Thank you.
man. Have a nice day. Thank you so
You
much.
too.